DM for the yute them. This is my direct message to you on how to live your happy life. Number one way on how we sabotage our own happiness is you are afraid. You're afraid. Afraid of the past, afraid of the future. You're afraid of trying new things because you're afraid you could fail. You're even afraid to share your gifts and your talents to the world. Afraid to really put yourself out there. And listen to me, this is where true happiness lies. True happiness lies in bravery, in stepping outside of what's comfortable, in moving past some of those emotional things that keep us back. That is where happiness lies. This is where your true self, you can live your best life outside of fear. So that's number one. You are afraid. Number two way of how you sabotage your own happiness is you are alone. And you may be like, Dr. D Nice, it's because of this and because, no, there's 8 billion. Just the other day, we crossed the 8 billion mark. There's 8 billion people on planet Earth right now. And you're telling me that you can't find one person to be your friend? You can't find one person to connect with? Oftentimes you're alone because you're not trying. Listen, I remember when I moved, how old was I? I just finished my residency. And I always wanted to live in Colorado, and from the time I was 13 years old, I wanted to live in Colorado, and I picked up and I just moved to Colorado. Didn't know anybody. There was one guy there from my medical school that we knew each other. We were close friends in medical school, but during residency, we just never kept up with each other. But he was the only person that I knew lived in Denver, Colorado. Other than that, no one. Do you hear me? Not one soul did I know in Denver, Colorado. And I met my husband shortly after. We were, of course, girlfriend, boyfriend then. I met him shortly after moving there. And I remember one day when we were hanging out, it's like, I don't have any friends. I was like, serious. And I'm such a friendly person. For whatever reason, I had just not been connecting with people. The truth is, I just wasn't putting myself out there. I wasn't interacting with people in a way to really make those deep connections. You can be on the planet with 8 billion people and feel alone. You can. We know that. And some people purposely isolate themselves. Because they feel that they're not good enough, they're not worthy of having friends, whatever the reason. Some people really purposely isolate themselves. And sometimes some people you just don't want to take the risk to put yourself out there to say hi or smile. Fear of rejection, that is a real thing. And some people really, you just self-isolate yourself for various reasons. Whatever reasons it is, let me know in the chat if you're a self-isolator, or sometimes you just plain busy. And that was what was going on with me when I moved to Colorado, and I was alone because I was busy. I started this new job, and I mean, as a physician, you were then, gosh, I think I was working like 60 hours a week, probably more, who knows? But I was just busy and I was getting to know the city. I had a boyfriend. I just gotten there and picked up a boyfriend just like that, And I just wasn't making time to make friends. And so you need to ask yourself, are you sabotaging your happiness by being alone? And why are you alone? These are things that you may have to sit and deeply contemplate it. My reasoning here, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm not trying to say things the wrong way. And I am really trying to be as direct as possible and say it gently so that you can take the time to ponder these things. What role are you playing in your own unhappiness? So, number 2 reason why you are not happy is you are alone. And most of the time, it's really something that is self-inflicted. Number 3. The number 3 reason you are alone, you are unhappy is you're distracted. Do I have to explain this one? I'm going to break it down. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to break it down for you. You are distracted. You have a busy schedule. Just kind of like I said before, this kind of goes hand in hand with that busy schedule. You're distracted. You're into school, you're into sports, you're into work, you're just going. And there's not a lot of time where you sit in silent contemplation. You never really sit there and try to figure out, okay, why did this happen? What can I do to self-correct to make this happen next? There's just not a lot of time being spent in silent contemplation of your life to really figure out how to be your happiest and your best. You're distracted. You're never silent. Oftentimes, you go around, you've got headphones on. You walk into the bus stop, you got headphones. You're walking down the hall in school, you got headphones. You sit and doing your homework, you got headphones. There's never any time where you're not getting constant input into your mind. You're distracted. You never take the time to really contemplate and see how your life is going and how you can improve your happiness. Another going on along with that, being distracted, sometimes you have addictions that you're dealing with that you use to purposely distract yourself from life. You're addicted to video games, you're addicted to television, social media, drugs, actual drugs that get in there and form an addiction. You may even be addicted to porn. All these things serves as distractions to not really engage with the real emotions, a real part of living, and it takes away from your happiness. Bottom line, it does. No questions asked. I would love to say it doesn't, but it does. And then, sometimes we're just distracted by people. It sounds weird that you're around. I just talked about where you're alone. Being alone is part of why you're unhappy. I just talked about that. But also being around people, there's this balance that you need to be. Being around people can keep you distracted because sometimes you use people simply as a distraction to keep busy, to keep going, so that you never really have a time to be at peace, to be by yourself, to really understand what it is that you need to do to improve your happiness. That's number 3. We're trying to work on helping you all be the happiest people on earth. Let's do it. Number 4, the last one. This last one, I had a young woman, let me just tell you, this last one is you are selfish. And the post I put up last week about depression, where I made the comparison of depression to selfishness. I had a young woman, I think it was a girl, I don't know, I'm sorry, but somebody in one of my posts, they commented underneath it that was not the right word. How can you accuse me of being selfish? That wasn't an accusation. It was an observation. I myself had suffered from depression before, and looking back, I understand the selfishness that occurs or goes on with being depressed. And I told her in the comment that may not have been the right, maybe self-absorbed, self-focused, still the same, selfishness. Anyhow, but you are selfish is why you are not as happy as you could be. And because of that self-focused energy that you're having, you spend a lot of time trying to get people's attention. Outside of your authentic self, you may spend a lot of time on social media looking for likes, comparing your life to other people. And it's all about you. How do I compare to this person? Not figuring out, oh, I'm worthy. I can live my best life. I have this talent. Let me go out and do something. You spend a lot of time looking at yourself, spending yourself, looking at yourself is my hips too wide? Do I have enough biceps? Can I run as fast as the other person? You're spending so much time comparing yourself with other people. And a lot of times, all these, let me not forget the attention-seeking behavior that goes along with all of that. Self-focused energy, selfishness, is creating you an unhappy environment for you. That's why you're not happy. You're afraid, you're alone, you're distracted, and you are selfish. What can you do about it? What can you do about it? Our situations differ. Now that I've put it out there for you all, I really would like for you to take some time and really ponder this. This is stuff that your mom and the dad and your best friend and them, your cousins and them, they're not going to tell you because they don't want to hurt your feelings. And Dr. D Nice is not hurting your feelings. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm saying it gently so that you can take the time to contemplate my words. Contemplate these things. You want to be happy. Okay. Well, as whoever's watching, let me know, where would you rate your happiness on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being so joyous, just like the person on the cover. Let me show you all the cover. Hey, let's pull it up. Just like the person on the thumbnail. Are you as happy as they are? Are you as happy as the person on the thumbnail? Or are you happier? Scale of 1 to 10. Where would you put your happiness? Put it in the comment section. And since while we're on the, hey,